Hey, friendos, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw Overrun. It's the bonus episode. It's the best thing ever because it's brought to you by patrons. Without you, we would not probably have a show.
At Starbucks.
Exactly. I would be a Twitch streamer by night and a panhandler by day. Anyways, yeah, this is Overrun. It's bonus episode. It's Friday, Larson. We're going to kick things off on Friday. Well, number one, do we have any non-news on Fridays?
No, let's just do.
We're just going to do Ask Stephen Larson.
You know, we talk about a lot of wrestling. We can take Overrun off.
It's the weekend, or it's coming up on the weekend. It's just an Ask Stephen Larson episode. Every Friday now is going to be Ask Stephen Larson. What is Ask Stephen Larson, you ask?
You ask about anything other than wrestling stuff.
Ask anything you want,
Anything
just
you
not
want.
about wrestling.
Not wrestling.
We will put up the thread every week.
Correct.
And then answer your non-wrestling questions.
Non-wrestling questions. Only,
right
please.
Here on bonus episode Overrun.
Do we need to turn the camera off, or you want to roll on that still?
Do I need to? No, I'll keep that on just because in case something happens here. Anyways.
All right, let's get started.
First up, very exciting. I'll start from the beginning to reward the people who...
You know, we kind of got in the mood for
I noticed that.
Towards the tail end of
Right.
the Friday News Show, talking about not wrestling stuff, our senior years in high school.
Perfect. First up, from Perry Smythe. What is your favorite movie from this year that starred a wrestler?
From 2018? Or 2019? 2019 just started.
I have literally not seen any movies
I guess
released.
2018. For you, it's probably...
Were there any wrestlers in Bird Box?
No.
For me, it's what?
No, I'd say if it's 2018,
Yeah.
then it's the Avengers movie because Batista was in there, right?
That is a good point. Infinity War might be the best movie of all time.
I'd never seen that. I did see Blade Runner 2049 this past year. They had Batista in
it, right?
And that was very good.
Yeah, it was a very good
That was
movie.
very good.
I got to check that out. Maybe this weekend I'll do it.
Yeah.
The only other one I know of was... Well, I know in 2019, I think CM Punk has a horror movie coming out.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there was Braun Strowman in that awful sounding...
it was supposed to be not very good, that Holmes and Watson.
I was really excited for that when they announced it, too.
I was, too, and I saw the first trailer, and I thought, this isn't very funny.
Yeah, none of it seemed funny.
Mm-mm.
Any other wrestlers in movies?
Nothing comes to mind, at least nothing
In
I've seen.
2018? Was Goldberg in a movie in 2018?
Not that I'm aware of.
Stone Cold? Oh, what about The Rock? What was the best Rock movie of 2018?
I did not see a whole lot of movies in 2018.
I saw San Andreas.
That was the previous year, I
Really?
think. Or 2 years before that.
What Rock movie came out this year? Oh, was that the King Kong? No.
Rampage.
Yeah. I saw bits and pieces of that. Alabama really seemed to like it.
Oh, okay. That was a great video game.
Yeah, it was. Totally. Jeffrey Nguyen. I love this question so much. This is my favorite question. Because Jeffrey Nguyen thought that this was an Ask Stephen Lacey.
Yeah.
Because I post those question threads here every once in a while. When in fact, this is Ask Stephen Larson.
So this could be a fun question to answer. Let's do it anyways.
Because it could be apropos for us. Jeffrey Nguyen asks, were you hesitant about living together at first? Circumstances are kind of forcing my hand, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to move in with the girlfriend. Now, either Jeffrey Nguyen believes that you and I are romantically involved, which we would never be, mainly because I can barely stand to be around you.
Oh, thanks.
And number two, we're both already married to lovely women.
Yes.
However, we did actually live together on 2 occasions. First was in college when we first moved to L.A.
Correct.
And I had no apprehension about living with you
No,
then.
that was by and large a lot of fun.
You know what's funny is that, like, we were such dicks to each other.
Oh, God, yes.
But all I remember is the good stuff.
Yeah.
I remember constantly being so irritated with both you and Jeff, but none of that resonates now. All I remember is the really fun stuff that we did.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And it was the most nerdy shit ever.
Yeah.
Now, given that you and I have both, moved in with significant others in the past, we might have some information.
Yeah.
For Jeffrey
My now wife and I moved in together. Well, here's the thing. Like, pretty quickly after we started dating seriously, we were just over at each other's place all the time anyways.
That's how it happens a lot,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And so we weren't technically living together, but we were around each other all the time. So by the time, I think it was 2005, 2006, we got an apartment together. And it just seemed to make sense. It's like, why are we paying 2 rents? Or a portion of 2 rents, you know?
Yeah. I was in the process of. No, I wasn't in the process. I had no apprehension. I was with Lacey like all the time also, and I was moving into my own house, and so it just made sense that she would move in with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember any discussion about it. It was just like, hey, I'm buying this house. She worked in Rancho, nearby. So I think it just sort of made sense too. I'm sure we had a conversation about it. I wasn't apprehensive about it though. Like if you are, I'm not, but also like I was 30 when that happened.
Yeah. I was
so like
27, 28.
Yeah. If you're like younger than that and you have apprehension, I'll put it this way. If you have apprehension about the relationship, then it's probably not a great idea to move in with the person. On the other hand, if you're young, like who cares? You're young. If it doesn't work, you stop doing it.
I guess there's two aspects. If there's apprehension about the relationship itself, yes, don't do it. If you feel fine about the relationship or just are nervous about moving in together, I think to a certain degree there's a certain maybe anxiety involved with taking such a significant step in a relationship, especially if you are younger.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's going to be a feeling out process where you get used to each other's quirks on a daily basis. Leaving the toilet seat up, stuff like that, not putting dirty dishes in the dishwasher right away, little things like that. That stuff all works itself out.
Yeah.
So but if it's a situation where you guys are already spending a lot of time together, like virtually all your time together,
it's just more convenient.
And it economically makes more sense just to get one place. Give it a try.
Yeah.
If you're happy together, give it a try.
Yeah. Like I said, if you're young. I mean, I don't know how old Jeffrey Nguyen is.
Yeah,
he's like 45. I'm like, what the heck? Why are you asking us? Ryan Regani. I have a 14-month-old boy, Henry. I love the name Henry. It's so adorable. He says, my first kid. Here's the thing about all boys named Henry. They all grow up to be massively wealthy. If you think about it. Henry Ford.
Henry Rollins.
Henry Fonda. They're all massively wealthy. Henry's one of those old money names. You know? Henry, come here. No! And it's like, the housekeeper or the nanny trying to corral the young rich boy, and he just like slaps her. Anyways, getting back to Ryan Regani. I have a 14-month-old massively rich son named Henry. He's my first kid. At what age do you have the most fun with your kids? Most fun age in your opinion? Too sweet and a hearty dad handshake.
Between like 10 months and 20 months. That was really good.
Yeah, okay.
To 22 months. There's a thing called the terrible twos, and they call it that kind of for a reason, even though 2's not the most difficult age. 3 is worse.
Yeah.
But the 2-3 range it can be rough at times. 4 is pretty good. 5's pretty good. That's as far as my oldest is 5, so I don't have a whole lot of experience raising children past that.
I have the most fun. Like Bama is almost 4, and granted, I think we're coming out of her terrible 2s, or that age when they're just impossible because she's been just very recently she's been really cool. And I think right now, simply because her sense of humor, dude, she does impressions. Like she's just me, just smaller. She's pretty savvy, and like it just makes for like a really hilarious sense of humor. And so right now I'm having probably the most fun I've ever had. But that being said, I don't remember a time when I didn't have a ton of fun. I mean, when they're like an infant, or like super tiny, like up until the point where they're walking, basically, it's just like, oh my God, this kid's gonna freaking kill herself, or I'm gonna do something.
The period
bad.
between when they start walking and when they really start to,
like for me, it's exponentially got more fun. Like she started walking, and like she would do silly things that would make me laugh, and she'd make cute faces and make me laugh, and her laugh would make me laugh. But then, like, the more that she would learn, like just this morning we were watching 205 Live, and Brian Kendrick showed up on the screen. He said, "Is that a boy or a girl?" And then I just started cracking up, and she started a heck of laughing. It's like she's quickly becoming my little homie.
Yeah.
And so it's just like I had a good time after she started walking, and then it's just gotten sort of better and better. And when they hit 12, it starts to go downhill, and you start to not know even who they are.
Well, let's say between the time they start walking and then once they decide to start pushing your buttons.
Yeah.
Around 2.
Yeah.
That's really great because then they're experiencing so much of the world for the very first time, and you get to kind of experience that with them.
Well, you know what's trippy is now with Alabama is that so she would do the thing where like, yeah, it was fascinating to watch a human being absorb stuff for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That was fascinating. But now to see her see things that I know she's seen before, but her understand the process of how things work, that's also very fascinating to me. Because, like, we went to Disneyland, like, a year ago, and, like, she remembers it. She really wants to go back, and she sees video, and she's like, oh, man, look at that or that or that. And I'm like, oh, you're piecing it together. Like, she's piecing stuff together. That stuff is fascinating to me. But to me, ever since she started walking, it sort of exponentially got better. It's like the bad stuff is worse when she hit 3, because it's like when I need her to do stuff, hey, I need to get you dressed for school, and then she starts pitching a fit. That sucks. That's like in the terrible 2s they call it. But it's, for me, it's
pretty much 2 and 3. Yeah, 3 is when they start actually talking back. You say, hey, can you do this? No.
My favorite is because me and Lacey, we both like, you know, due to, I don't know, just like when I exercise on a regular basis, my back feels great. If I don't, it just shuts down on me.
Yeah, same way.
Lacey, because she did labor at the post office, now she's in an office, she's in a chair all day, like her back is just all messed up. So we both have, like, you know, we don't have bad backs, but we have back pain sometimes. Bam, I need you to pick that up. No, my back hurts. My head aches. Your head doesn't ache. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I didn't have a first headache till I was like 30. That's not true. But, and I know your back's not bad. Your back is fine.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That stuff makes me laugh. When she'll talk back, but she'll use like stuff that just is hilarious. Jimmy V, what is your favorite movie from your childhood? Jimmy V says it was Terminator 2.
Oh, that's a good pick. Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
That and Wrath of Khan. Those are my 2 favorite movies as a kid.
When I was a kid, what was my favorite movie? What year would you say Wrath of Khan became your favorite movie?
Whatever year it came out. My 2 earliest movie-going experiences are literally Empire Strikes Back and Wrath of Khan. My parents took my brother and I to go see Wrath of Khan whenever it was in the theaters.
My earliest movie was the Star Wars trilogy because we went to I think it was a screening of Return of the Jedi, and which I would have been like 4.
So that was 82. Wrath of Khan came out.
So I guess it probably would have been Star Wars growing up. I never really thought about what my favorite movie was until I was like a teenager, though. You know. And yeah, I never really thought like, oh wow, this is my favorite movie ever. I'm trying to remember.
No,
now.
for me, my brother and I were both obsessed with Star Wars, so
Yeah.
Empire. The first movie we ever bought, my dad got a VCR for us, the first VHS tape. I still have it. I forgot Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. I mean, we both grew up on all those great 80s movies. So I remember Dreamscape being a movie that was
great. Did you ever see
we had it on VHS.
Philadelphia Experiment?
No.
That's a good one. My
Yeah.
Science Project.
Yeah, okay.
Explorers.
No. Explorers sounds familiar. What was the one about the kid who like does crazy like adventures? No, I'm thinking of okay, so there was one movie where a kid disappeared for like 10 years. I think he got like abducted by aliens and came back and it was 10 years later and he was still a kid. Forget that one. It was cool though. I had a weird dream last night that felt like a movie.
I used to watch a lot of it because, you know, we got our VCR and that was during the boom of video stores. So, especially growing up within this little small town. And so, you know, what are we going to do? Let's go to the video store and rent stuff. So that's, I remember they had one whole wall of just like all Disney stuff. And there was this period in like the late 70s, early 80s where Disney was like, okay, we'll still make family movies, but let's give them an edge. So that's when
they're
you got
dark, yeah.
The Black Hole,
Yeah.
like the Return to Witch Mountain movies,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
There was one of those. No, there was one of those called son of a bee. What was the name of that movie?
There's one called Condor Man, which was ridiculous. We used to watch that all the time as a kid, too. Black Hole is a really good movie. It's really an underrated film.
Man. Want to hear my dream last night? It's really short.
All right.
Me, Alabama, and Lacey, and our bodyguard named Anthony were at Disneyland.
All right. There's a lot of Disneyland this episode.
Me and Anthony were sort of lagging behind for some reason, even though he was supposed to be our bodyguard.
Yeah.
We lose track of Alabama and Lacey. And so I'm like, dude, Anthony, my bodyguard. I don't know who this Anthony person is in real life, by the way. He's exclusive in my dreams.
Yes.
He just made his debut in my dreams last night.
Oh, is this a dreamscape situation where someone's invading your dreams?
Could be. I called up Lacey and I was like, dude, where are you? She said, I'm by the sharks. I'm like,
there's no sharks at Disneyland.
well, there's like some big, in my dream Disneyland, there was like a bunch of big inflatable sharks. So I was like, where near the sharks? Like, I'm kind of near there. And she was like, no, I'm further down. And I'm like, where are you? And then she said, I can't say. And then she hung up on me. Then I woke up and I was like, whoa. That was a messed up dream.
That is a messed up dream.
Next, Matt Buller. Which Rocky movie was your favorite?
4. That was my favorite growing up. Saw that one in the theater. 3's pretty good. 3's entertaining.
3.
4 is my
if I got to
favorite,
be honest, it was 3. And you know why I hated 4?
Because Apollo Creed had to pass away.
That was brutal.
It was brutal.
That was horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing the twitching thing. Oh, and then all of a sudden it was a cemetery. What the hell? Fucking they just killed Apollo Creed.
It's very sad, I know.
Oh, man, yeah, that killed it for me. Give me Rocky 3 where it was freaking
Mr. T, Clubber Lang.
And Hollywood Hogan was in it.
Thunder Lips.
Yeah, man.
And Apollo and Rocky were friends.
And even in that one, Mickey died. Mm-hmm. That was freaky too. But Apollo was much more graphic.
He was in the ring, man.
That was jacked up. And it was supposed to be a friendly exhibition. Oh, man.
Ivan Drago didn't see anything friendly about it.
No, he didn't. That scene was as disturbing to me as RoboCop when he got shot up.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a far more graphic, far more disturbing scene.
Yes.
But because I loved Apollo Creed so much.
Creed was great.
I was so disturbed by that. I was so thoroughly disturbed. I always loved that last scene in Rocky 3 when they had the same punches at the same time. I always loved that. I was like, this is the coolest thing. There's no crowd. They're just in there. They're like John a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it stills.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I think it was Rocky 3 was my favorite.
It's a good answer, too.
Although we can both agree Rocky 1 was the best film of them all.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. James Rodriguez. Hey, friendos, I'm going to be 30 at the end of the month.
Wow.
James, wait, the Dynamic Knight?
No, that's
really?
Joshua.
Joshua.
Martinez is Dynamic Knight.
All right. James here is going to be 30 at the end of the month. And I don't know quite how to feel. Any advice or fun stories about how you both felt when you reached your 30s? Were you dreading it, or did you feel like you finally reached adulthood? Is age just a number and a mindset?
Yeah, I think it is. Turning 30 was just another day. I didn't actually feel like I became an adult until I had a family. That's when I really felt like an adult because I didn't have to worry about just myself anymore. I had to take care of other people. That's when I really felt like an adult.
I still don't really feel like an adult.
But 30, yeah, I don't remember having any angst or anxiety or anything about it. It was just another day, another birthday.
Yeah, I think I just spent it with my family.
My wife surprised me with all my friends meeting us at a baseball game. That was what I did for my 30th birthday.
It was sort of a sea change time for me, though, because it was when I moved back in June of 2008. And, we had a pretty big thing going on in my family that I had to come back and sort of help out with, and I was just back. And so by the time 3 months rolled around, it was only a month removed from me understanding that I was back in Sacramento. My old life in LA was completely done with. Mm-hmm. Well, it was also kind of an exciting time because I think I was right on the verge. I was in the very, very first months of working for Machinima. And so it was kind of exciting because I was like, man, I'm just sort of starting over a little bit. Mm-hmm. Wasn't entirely happy with the way things were going in LA anyways. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I don't know. But the concept of, I'm 30 now, I was just like, man, I'm just ready to get on with my life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, at that age, I think at that age also, there's sort of this societal concept that by the time you're 30, you should really have your life figured out, which is complete falsehood.
It is.
Figure out your shit on your own time.
Yeah.
Literally, last year? It's probably the first time I really thought, career-wise, I am where I want to be. We're always trying to get better and improve and be more successful. But, it was like, man, we had left Machinima 2 years ago or whenever it was, and
It's almost 4 years ago that we got laid off.
oh, I mean our last
yeah.
episode of 10 for the win,
Yeah.
which is sort of when we like cut the cord and it's
Yeah.
like it's just us now.
Yeah.
It's just us. This is what I always wanted. I always wanted, either you or me to be independently sort of doing our thing. What? Well, I wouldn't want to do it by myself, but if you died or something, or if you were like, oh, I got a great offer from the state, they're going to give me $45,000 a year in benefits.
That's not that great of an offer.
It really isn't. It is not. It is not a great offer. But, like you always like to say, what matters to some people,
Yeah, no, exactly.
So if you decided to leave, then it would be just me. I would want to be, independent on my own.
Yeah.
But no, I always wanted this. What we have right here, I've always wanted this. And we only got this about a year ago. We only moved in less than a year ago. And so at that point, and I'm 40, it's like, okay, cool. Where I am where I want to be.
Yeah.
When I was 30, I was literally taking the very first baby steps to get to that point.
Yep.
And that was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So no, I viewed it like, I think there might've been a part of me that was like, man, I really wish I was further along. But I know some people obsess over that stuff.
I just feel like that if you spend so much time assessing where you're supposed to be based on societal norms, you're just putting undue pressure on yourself.
Yeah, totally.
To live up to other people's or society's expectations of you instead of just saying, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what makes me happy. How am I going to proceed to get to that point? It might take 2 years. It might fit into the time frame that society says I'm supposed to do this, or it might not. But what does it matter?
And number one, it's never too late to start over.
Yep.
You can always start over. Like even if you're 80 years old, you can start over.
I mean, us going in Raw was essentially us starting over.
Exactly. And honestly, like, what I've learned is that your life is basically what happens while you're trying to get somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So you're never going to get to where you want because then you're going to die. Stevie Bradley. In this digital age we live in today, what is the perfect amount of paper and coin money to have on your person for an average day? He says he thinks a 5 and 3 ones plus a quarter is probably perfect.
I can probably count on one hand the number of days over the course of any given year where I actually have paper or coin money on my person. I never have cash. Never. Never, 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 never. Hardly ever, I should say.
I am always so irritated whenever we make the drive to San Francisco. And it's like, oh,
you need toll money.
I got to do that.
Yeah.
I got to find a way to scrounge together $5 now, 5 single dollar bills that have been touched and rubbed on and spat upon and eaten near.
And used to snort cocaine.
The worst. That's the worst. No way.
Yeah, I don't like carrying cash.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
Because if I don't spend it immediately, I end up losing it.
Yeah, right.
Or it gets put through the laundry or something.
I do have to go, and that's the thing, like on the first of every month, I got to run down to the cash machine, grab some money for grab some actual cash for my landscaper, my yard person, and dole that out. So that's the one time. Oh, and then when I give Summer her allowance, like whenever she asks for it, I'm like, yeah. Let me go to the ATM machine because she does a really good job cleaning the kitchen. So
yeah, I don't really have cash on me.
yeah. So he clarifies
That's
here.
a very specific amount, though.
Stevie Bradley clarifies in regards to the amount. The 5 for a convenience store purchase or to pitch in on something, tip or parking. The 1s for on the street, the corn guy, or a homeless guy that tugs on the heartstrings. The quarter for a toss in the parking meter. You have to park and get out real quick. It's rare that I'm near a parking that I need.
And
to
most
deal
of the
with
parking meters here in Sacramento now are, except they take cards.
Yeah, same with the convenience stores.
Yeah, pretty much any place takes cards.
I do this though. I do keep about $10 in ones in my car.
Oh, okay.
Because you never know when you do need
Really? Now I know.
If you need loose change, we have a donut cup over there with.
I'm just saying, if I'm hard up for a couple bucks,
You don't have to do that. You can ask me. I will PayPal you money. No, don't do that.
you're like, who broke into my car?
You'll just hurt yourself.
Who broke into my car?
Because you'll probably try to do it with you'll be like Goldberg.
No, he punched like this. You use your elbow. I'm wearing my sweater too.
I don't know, man. I feel like
I'll
you'd
leave
be
any
apprehensive and you just hurt your elbow.
I'll super kick it.
God, my shoulder hurts. Zach S, the Hall of Famer Zach S. I'm about to graduate high school in about 5.5 months. And he acts like he's 30, though. I wish I was that mature when I was Zach. Like, he's got his shit together. I wish I did when I was his age.
Yeah, I didn't have my crap together for a very long time.
He said, what would you overall say is the best way to take it all in terms of transitioning into adulthood?
It's not an overnight thing.
Yeah, don't worry about...
Life is a learning. It's all about learning, and every day you do something, you're going to learn. Every day you're on this planet,
you're going to make some bad mistakes.
And you're going to make mistakes.
Just got to try to mitigate them.
And when you make them, atone for them.
Don't dive into credit card debt.
Yeah, don't do that.
If you want practical advice, don't dive. But I did
Stay
that. I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of debt for a while. Turned around. Accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes, but as Steve said, mitigate them, learn from them.
I would suggest this. If you know what... again, I didn't do this, and I kind of don't regret it because I am where I want to be. However, part of me kind of regrets that if there's a career that you want to be a part of, if you have a specific thing in mind for a career, just get in at the ground floor. Just start early.
Start doing it.
Just start doing it. Yeah.
Although I'd gotten the production right out of college, and I don't think it really benefited me now in any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, it did. Yeah, sure it did, because it led you to Machinima. It did, and Machinima led you to here.
No, I'm saying in a very practical sense, because specifically speaking about like my first couple jobs, because what got me in Machinima was editing stuff, and none of the jobs I did early on had anything to do with editing.
But when you were editing, so what job specifically landed you at Machinima? Because you met
I met
boss Ron.
Yeah, at a previous thing, which was endeavor that he was part of. It was like a web database thing that was about production stuff, and so I was brought on to help as far as the editing side of thing. But I had, in no stretch of the imagination, edited professionally.
Yeah.
Especially any sort of nonlinear stuff. I had done the first job I had out of college was working with that entertainment news production house.
Yeah.
And so I had helped put some pieces together there, but it wasn't, they still had the huge linear editing system, which was real tape. And I wasn't pressing the buttons. I was up there with the editor, and he's like, what B-roll do you want to use to cover up this voiceover? I'd say, here's the time code, put that in. So, it was more making decisions as a producer as opposed to doing any real editing. Yeah. Any editing I did was just on my own on the side.
Yeah.
Here and there. Yeah. Learning how to edit as I did it.
But I would imagine, like, getting hired on to do that, like you had a resume with other
with
production stuff on it.
But like the stuff I did at Machinima had nothing to do with anything I was doing previously.
Well, yeah, like, my sister, she worked at a bank, which doesn't really have anything to do with, like, the investment. I mean,
it's in the same field. Yeah,
what she did didn't really relate, and she had a political science degree in the first place. So, like, I don't know, like. I started in the banking industry because I wanted a job that I could sort of check my brain at the door so I could draw comic books while I was doing it. So I got a customer service cubicle job on the phones, and I would just sit there and draw. And hey, I ended up getting a comic book out of it that I've been able to sell to our friendos out there. But, literally it was because I was funny and had a decent voice that you called me and said, hey, do you want to come do some voiceover stuff?
Some voiceover work.
Right. So you never know where it's going to take you, but...
Nope.
I don't know, man. Just don't put too much pressure on you. I guess the thing is, if you're always trying to... My thing has been, I had a goal coming out of college, and I always chased that goal in some way. And that goal was I wanted to make comics, And at that point, I just, I wanted to make movies or I wanted to make comics. I wanted to do something on my own. And I always chased that goal. Now, that goal ended up changing, years and years down the line to, I want to be doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Independently.
Yeah.
But if you're always chasing after something to make your life better and to get you in a position where you want to be, if you're always chasing that, you'll probably be okay because you've always got that ambition. So many people just don't know what they want to do. They are lost and they don't have that ambition, And that's where you'll have an edge if you just get a goal, understand that goal might change down the line, and that's totally okay, and just hop into it and just try to keep pushing it.
But also, if you're coming at it right out of school and you don't quite know what that goal is yet, that's okay.
And get out there and learn. Get out there and experiment.
Just do things.
Do stuff. You'll fall into something. Podcasting wasn't even a thing when we got out of college.
No,
you know,
no, not at all.
So,
I mean, I got out of college. The college we went to was just getting computer editing software.
yeah,
That was kind of at the dawn of that.
I did it as an elective. Did you and Hilton do
we did
nonlinear editing as an elective?
Yeah, it was something called Lightworks.
Lightworks, yeah. See, I didn't even do that. I did After Effects.
Yeah.
As an elective, and it wasn't even like, and it was I think it was just called like digital media or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like the professor was just a dude who was like, man, there's all these cool programs out here where you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. You guys check it out. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
The funny thing about the non-linear editing class we took is like a whole semester, but we got like 15 minutes of hands-on. It was hardly any.
Yeah.
And there was like a couple clips, I think, from episode Law and Order we can play around with, and that was it. It was pretty minor stuff.
Was it like a really compelling sequence?
No, I think it was a matter of a few shots. But we did all our editing on flatbeds, film. That's how we edited.
Oh, and I love that because
it was great. It taught you discipline. I always say this, that if when you're editing on film on a flatbed, if you're making a cut, you better damn well mean it, because you're gonna be spending an hour doing it and undoing if that's not what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not like it is now where I'm sitting here. Okay, hold on a second. I got to cut this opening sequence really quick before we start rolling live.
I know. Here, I'll cut this 30 seconds in about 2 minutes, as opposed to that'll take you half a night.
Exactly. Anyways, so we got through like 4 questions. We have a ton more for next week. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.